The presentation shown at the conference Black Sea Freight Market and Ports in Istanbul in May 2014. The Black Sea market is represented by Ukraine, Russia, Romania, Bulgaria, Georgia, and in 2013 the market was 2.6 million TEU full total and 1.8 million TEU full, almost 70% of the full containers share, and almost 10% of the annual growth, with a forecasted growth of 5% for the next 2 years. These are the total Black Sea volumes, and 2009 was a crisis year, with the next 2 years recovery and further minor growth of something like 5% per annum. By countries, we review Ukraine, Russia, Romania, Georgia, and Bulgaria. And those countries have the average growth of the 10%. Highest growth rate was in Romania and Georgia. Ukraine is still the largest country market in 2013, and Russia almost have the same volumes. But in the first quarter 2014 the situation changed. Russia had a decrease, Ukraine had a growth despite to the political and economical instability. And in the TEU volumes, in the first quarter 2014, Russia overcame Ukraine. Then we review the growth by terminals. These are the places and the names of the 14 terminals of the Black Sea. In 2013, most of the terminals had a growth except Russian NSCP, which had a decrease. But in the first quarter 2014 have happened some changes. The HPC Ukraine had a drop, and the Russian NOE and NewTap terminals also had a decrease, together with the Georgian Batumi. But Poti had a huge growth, and the major changes were among those terminals. So the DP World kept the first place, HPC Ukraine dropped to the fourth place, Poti in Georgia went up one place to the second. NOE Russia moved from the fourth to the third place. NewTap Russia kept the fifth place. The CTI kept the sixth place. The Brooklyn Kiev moved down to the eighth place. And SCP Russia moved to the seventh place. Varna kept the ninth position. Batumi moved down to 11th position. TIS Ukraine had moved down to the 13th place. Burgas kept the 12th place, and the Sochip in Romania moved to the 10th place, while Fishport in Ilichevsk have kept the 14th position. Now we review the growth by lines. We review top 10 lines at the Black Sea. And the major lines were the Maersk, Yangming, South, MSC, China Shipping, Evergreen, CMA CGM, ZIM, Arcas, and Hapag-Lloyd. In the first quarter 2014, the top 5 lines were Maersk, MSC, CMA CGM, ZIM, and Arcas. And if we go to the growth rates, the highest rate had the Yangming, followed by Sav and Maersk. But in TEU, Maersk was really driving the Black Sea region growth, giving this 65% of the total surplus. Everyone are talking about the P3, and who are the P3 at the Black Sea? They have about 1 million TEU volumes and more than 50% share. And in 2013, MSC had a 45% share in the P3, followed by Maersk and CMA. And in the first quarter 2014, the P3 would have more than 55% share at the Black Sea. And Maersk had almost the same share as the MSC, while CMA share didn't change. If we talk about the container balance at the Black Sea, the whole market in the first quarter 2014 consists on 70% of full containers and 30% of empty containers. And the full containers split to import and export as 60 to 40%. And if we talk about the empties, we have an empty equipment share in the turnover of the country, with the import of empty and export of empty. And for Ukraine, trend that import of empty is increasing and the export of empties is decreasing. For Romania, it's the same, and import is increasing and export is decreasing. And for Bulgaria, we have a growth of import of empties and the decrease of the export of empties. So the general trend for these three countries that import of empties is increasing and export of empties is decreasing. But we also have Russia and Georgia in the Black Sea. And here the import of empties is quite small for both countries, while the share of the export of empties is still high, and those two countries are supplying empties to the region. The presentation has been prepared by Informall Business Group. Thank you for your attention. Follow us on the Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube, and you can order such presentations from us.